The history of the Manhattan cocktail. Like so many cocktails, the origins of the Manhattan are lost in time. The Democrat newspaper remarked in 1882 that, "It is but a short time ago that a mixture of whiskey, vermouth and bitters came into vogue," and observed that it had been known as a turf club cocktail, a jockey club cocktail, and a Manhattan cocktail. There are many theories to how Manhattan came about, and the most popular of these is that in the early 1880s Dr. Ian Marshall came up with the recipe for a party that was held at the Manhattan Club in New York City by Lady Randolph Churchill, Winston's mother. Many people in the industry now believe that this story is a myth and that at the time Lady Randolph Churchill was pregnant with Winston, and at home in England, therefore not partying in New York. Some now think that a man going by the name of Black invented the cocktail at the famed Hoffman House in New York City. Whichever story you choose to believe, the Manhattan Club still lays claim to the ownership of the recipe to this very day, and the cocktail is still widely available in bars, restaurants, and cafes throughout the world, and is regarded by many bartenders as one of the best cocktails to ever have been served. One of the earliest records of the Manhattan cocktail can be found in William Schmidt's The Flowing Bowl, which was published in 1891. The recipe is listed here as having the following ingredients: 2 dashes of gum syrup, 2 dashes of bitters, 1 dash of absinthe, 2/3 portion of whiskey, 1/3 portion of vermouth. Yet another story involves a Colonel Joe Walker on a yachting trip in New York. Barry Popix notes an entry in the Daily Journal, Racine, Wisconsin, the 8th of March 1899. The article purports that Colonel Joe Walker ran the then famous Crescent Hall Saloon in New Orleans, at the corner of Canal and St. Charles Streets, and that some years before he went on a little yachting trip with a party of friends while in New York. By some oversight, the liquid refreshments in the icebox were confined to Italian vermouth and plain whiskey, and it occurred to the colonel that a palatable drink might be made by mixing the two. The results were so good that he experimented a little on his return to New Orleans and soon perfected the Manhattan cocktail, as it is known today. It was christened in honor of his friends on Manhattan Island, and the fame of the decoction soon spread all over the country. The true Manhattan cocktail is always made with Italian vermouth, but at half the places where they undertake to serve them, French dry vermouth is substituted, and the fine flavor is altogether destroyed. French vermouth is a sort of wine, while Italian vermouth is a cordial, pure and simple. They are as different as milk and molasses. A cocktail made from the French brand is no more a Manhattan cocktail than it is a Spanish omelette. Name: the Manhattan may have been named after New York City's Manhattan Club, but is most likely named after one of the 5 boroughs which jointly form New York City. After all, the Manhattan Club is in itself named after the borough it sits in. 3 of the other 4 boroughs have also lent their names to Manhattan variations: Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. Sadly, for Staten Island, it doesn't have a classic cocktail named after it, but a Staten Island Ferry cocktail is most usually considered to a pina colada, like equal parts coconut rum and pineapple juice.